Hi, this is Jeremy Nett, and you're watching a three-part series on a Darth Maul Black Series Force FX lightsaber conversion. We will be converting two Black Series Force FX Darth Maul sabers over to LED module-based lighting and replaceable blades. I've trimmed around this switch chassis right here so I can drop my resistor right into this little square. That way I can set my whole blade holder LED module right on top. So my next step is I'm going to be soldering right here and here. This is where I'm going to be soldering my negative, and this is where I'm going to be soldering my positive. So this one will be running off the positive, will be going to the wire that's running to the resistor, and then this one will be going to the negative on the LED. The only thing I really need is to get some green. I don't need a real long length, I just need enough to get from the bottom of this compartment up to the top to the resistor. So just gonna trim it off right here, and then just give me a little bit of material on both sides. So just about that much to solder onto the circuit board, and then just about that much to solder it to the end of the resistor. Gonna get my black wire ready. This one I really don't need one that long because I just have to run it to the wire running off the LED. So it only needs to be a little bit longer than the actual chassis, so right about here. At least on this run, I'm not going to have to worry about any heat shrink. It's just whenever I join this up to the LED module and all those wires up there, then I'll have to start using the heat shrink. So I'm going to quick get my solder out. Check if this is hot. Yeah, it's ready to go. This is going to be one of the last runs for this soldering iron. I'm getting a new soldering station, so just tinning the ends of this wire without trying to burn myself. Take my green wire, got to grab the short end, and what I want is I want to solder it so that I can just bend the wire back, because this bottom part of the circuit's going to go all the way down here, so I want to kind of bend this over the edge, and then I'm going to take a piece of electrical tape and actually tape the wires to the circuit board. So just get a bead started, set it down. Alright. Alright, well, that's nice and snug already. Move this wire out of the way, and then find the short end on this side and just solder it down. It moved. 1 second, I'm just trying to make sure I don't get this wire caught, because the wire right next to it is actually what runs back down to the speaker, so I don't want it shorting it out. This all will slide right in, so what I do is just slide this down into this compartment until this goes all the way down to the bottom. But I guess gotta make sure I'm not catching it on the switch in here. Gotta wiggle it around until I find the right spot. Once it's in there, then it'll slide all the way down. This is some thermal tape, hopefully without ripping it at all. And I'm actually going to put it on the heatsink first because I want to get it to wind up with all the holes on the heatsink. So there it is, nice and neat. I just have to peel off the backing. Alright, got the backing off of there. And I just take my Cree and try to line it up so all the holes match up. Nice tight fit to the thermal adhesive, and then I'll be running my wires right through here, and then this whole setup locks all together. So this little lens fixture just lines up to the 4 holes that are not being used once I have it wired in place. This is my resistor right here. So my goal is to make sure I'm going to have enough space for this all to work. So I'm going to trim down the wires on the resistor first, right about there, on both sides. With this type of Darth Maul saber, you don't really have very much space, so you really got to kind of make sure that you don't lose room fast. I'm just going to put a little bit of solder on the pad, the negative pad over here, and do the same thing with the positive pad. Spin it around, just get a little bit of solder on the pad in preparation. There we go. And now all I'm going to do is take this black wire and I'm going to bond it down. There, I got my black wire run through. Now I'll solder in the positive. Get a little more. And just line it up. Make sure this will rest right on top. That's lined up over there. Got a little bit of a crimp. That way they kind of hold together already. And all I have to do is solder that. It's one drawback of getting older. You tend to shake a little more as you get older. Your hands aren't quite as steady as they used to be. So I'm going to slide the heat shrink all the way up and use this to heat up the heat shrink. A little bit of move it back and forth. Now that's heat shrink down. I just have to work on the other side of the wire. Well, this one I really don't have to worry about the heat shrink yet, so I'm just going to put it together and slide the heat shrink off the back edge of the wire. So try to get this to slide all in place. And I just slide the heat shrink over the end. Yeah, make sure if you do it this way, don't forget the heat shrink. Then you go down the line and you've soldered the other end and you've completely forgotten about the heat shrink. I got my wiring ready. So the next step is I'm going to be putting everything right into the mod. So line this back up and then start it up from the bottom. First little bit you can do by hand, but after a while you need to get a flat head to screw this one in. Some of them have a Phillips bottom, some flat head. I've seen some LED modules that actually have a square drive. So it just depends on where you get them from. LED module is all tightened down into place, and so this will end up sliding all the way up towards the top of the housing on here. And you already see, and I pre-drilled the hole for my blade tension, so I'm just going to have a set screw that goes all the way into here. It's already pre-drilled because once this is seated inside, I'm going to have to drill through here in order to tighten down the blade. So I just got it lined up on the back side of here. That way it's not really that visible.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video, then please press the like button.
And if you like what you've been watching, please hit the subscribe button.
To see our latest video, click on the link to the right.
Thank you again. Later.